Here.
Are you on you or Ryan's?
I'm on my phone.
All right, Yancey and Dexter, we are officially live.
So Jack, as you can see, our videographer just completed Deca Strong. He's dealing with, he's in the Deca Done zone, Deca Zone 11, and he has race brain, which we've all experienced.
It's a real thing. After doing a Deca Strong, your brain just does not work. So
yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, y'all, I am completely feeling it, but we got the camera turned around.
Okay.
You guys can see the energy in here.
Dexter, the main question, what was your time, brother?
15:07.
Oh, you're in the fast group.
Good first attempt.
You're in the fast group.
Yeah, I can barely hold this camera up. I'm not gonna lie to you right now.
Okay, that camera so far, like as he's walking around, it looks pretty solid. Like not pixelated. It looks pretty good. So I would say whatever you're doing, just keep doing that.
That's right.
All right. So Yancey, we've got Eric hopping on right now. I don't know how many people currently are on. Gary's on here. Gary, Matt his wife has a bodybuilding competition, so we are filling in for him.
Hey Dex, if you can kind of step back there and kind of a still shot on the kind of the 10 zones.
Yeah, definitely.
Like a far view. Yep.
Yeah. So for anybody that's jumped on, we're live at Astus Fitness in Fouquet Arena, North Carolina. Sam Lowe's gym
there.
The
man slipped through there real quick.
They have one line of equipment set up today. They're going to push 40 to 50 people through Deca Strong.
Yep.
A lot of our gyms will have 2 to 3, even 4 lines of equipment where we can have up to 80 to 100 people rolling.
We don't want both Rose. Can I get a double over easy egg and some country fries?
Yeah, they got a pretty awesome setup here where, like you said, they've got the 2 people going at the same time. All the zones are lined up right next to each other. So you bounce right from the ram to the row to the box overs, and it's just all right there for you. So it's definitely an optimal setup for putting down a good time with those quick transitions.
Nice. Yeah. Eric, to answer your question, who currently holds the record? Yancey, it's Ryan Corning, right? With 11:49.
That is Ryan Corning with an 11:49. Zach Vogel with an 11:54, and Hunter McIntyre in 3rd place with 11:59. Ryan Kent is sitting in 4th place overall with a 12:06. So Ryan has to go 17 seconds faster than his PR to tie Ryan Corning, 18 seconds to break the record today.
Yep. Dexter, just a couple of things to keep in mind that would be very helpful. You're obviously kind of a far from now, but when Ryan goes off, we're going to just put you as the sole screen so that everybody's watching. They're only seeing Ryan, his performance, which will be in about 12 minutes. If you can, like the guy on the skier right now, can you do a test, I guess? Can you go over there and just see how visible the display is? It would be awesome to see his 500-meter rate, his stroke rate, just to kind of see what's on there. If you're not able to get super close so we can see it, maybe you can be like, he's going 148 pace or, something like that.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, we don't know this guy, but Ryan gave me full permission to get all of it in there. So he said he wouldn't mess him up. So I'll definitely get, a good shot of the splits on the rower and the skier and the bike and all that good stuff.
Yep. And then same deal with anybody doing shoulder overs, ram burpees, etc. If you can make sure that their full body's in frame, just kind of like this right here. We don't want only their upper body. We want to see the full movement of it, just so everybody watching can see Ryan completely doing it. Yeah.
Awesome. My parents are here.
So it looks like we have somebody wrapping up Deca Zone 5. The skiers.
Probably within about 10 minutes they should be done, and then Ryan will set off. Is it nice and air conditioned in there, Dexter?
There is AC rolling, but I just started to feel it. When I finished up, it felt like just as hot as it was outside.
Gotcha.
So Dexter, that was your first time to run Deca, correct?
Yes, sir.
So give me your rundown, man. As you and I talked yesterday, we designed Deca for all levels of fitness. So literally in that gym today, if we pulled 1,000 people in to test Deca, and if a massive majority of them were unfit and overweight and have never even participated in a fitness program in their life, we wanted it to be designed in a way where the majority of those people would be able to finish it. But in the same arena on the same day, using the exact same fitness standards, we wanted all levels, including the Ryan Kent cyborgs and everybody in between, to be able to compete at that same test to kind of gamify their own fitness. What are your thoughts after your full run through of Deca Strong?
I think the design is brilliant. Every move, like you said, is something that anybody can do. But, adding the element of going faster, going unbroken, is playing to challenge the elite athlete. I mean, it is just great. We got people here. This is a great MC. There are many people who have done this event before. So MCs shouting out people who maybe their first time doing it knocked out 25 minutes, but this time they put down like a 21 or a 19-minute effort. So, as long as you're racing the clock, racing your own personal best, everybody is just out here killing it.
Are there two? There's two lines of equipment
I see
today.
A second skier.
Oh, that's awesome. He sent me an image. Sam sent me an image, and I thought there was only going to be one line. Okay, very, very good. So for the viewers,
mirrored, basically.
For the viewers tuning in, this is the typical setup. We've had about 160 gym events at our Deca affiliates across the country. This is a typical setup: 2 pieces of equipment per zone, where you can send off two competitors at a time. We'll have anywhere from 60 to 120 people typically sign up for our Deca events, and we'll have anywhere from 3 to 5 per weekend across the country. That's been going steady for about the past year.
Yeah, and the small footprint is awesome as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like that side by side. I've raced VJ. Oh, there's the man of the hour. But let's hop over to Ryan.
So do I grab him up real quick?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
You ready to go, my friend?
Ready, man.
How you feeling, brother?
I'm ever gonna be.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Feeling not so good, but once I got warmed up, got the blood flowing, got the heart rate up a little bit. Feeling much better.
Okay.
Here at sea level versus 6,000 people where I live in Colorado. So the humidity is like coming into the building right now. So I'm sweating more than I have in a long, long time. Trying to keep up with the fluids, but I'm feeling good. I think it's going to be a good one.
Can y'all hear him?
Dexter, do you have headphones whenever we talk with him after the race?
I was just wondering about that. Yeah, actually, I can take my headphones off if you guys wanted to go to the original plan of giving me a call.
I would like you to keep your headphones on during the coverage, so that way if we're like, go to the left, go to the right, zoom in on this, you can hear us without any echo. When we talk with Ryan after the race, that would be good to see. Why don't you walk over there so the viewers can see what's he putting his resistance on for the rower, like just some of his setup. Just if you want to be like Ryan Kent, what's it take?
Well, he just got set up. It's like he's got his damper right about 6. Got his rower all set. It's like he's getting
just so everybody knows, 10, a lot of people think like, oh, I'm on race mode, I have to go on 10. Ryan Kent is going for the record on for Deca Strong, and he's putting his resistance, his damper on 6. I normally do 6 or 7 as well. I'm sure most of the top guys, they're doing the same. So just because you see a 10 on there doesn't mean that that's what you do for a race.
Yeah, and that's not that doesn't mean that 10 makes getting to 500 meters a lot harder, one easier. That's not how it works. It's not like, hey, this is the resistance. It's actually a dampener that just adjust the airflow into the machine.
Yep.
Yeah, from what I understand, it's basically the size of your boat.
Yep. All right.
So warm up 147 split.
He wants to pull a 148 today on the ski erg and a 138 on the rower. That's his goal. For those two machines to stay above record pace.
Yep.
Man, I blacked out. I literally can't even remember what I put down.
Yeah, well, that's race brain for you. What's his damper setting on for the ski erg?
He also has it at 6.
Also 6? Okay. Yep. So just in case anybody out there is watching, that's It's not a bad setup to do.
I know we have Ryan's mom, Patty, and dad, George, attending today. And cool little story on Ryan's dad, George. He was the 1977 world champion arm wrestler in his weight class. George got the guns.
He's probably got that old man strength right now also.
Yeah. That's also where Ryan got his love for running. His dad took him all over the country running races. He's arm wrestling one day, and the next day he's running marathons. So, and as kind of like Dad, Ryan's got a good combination of the running ability and the strength, endurance, power.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, Ryan actually, he still holds some age group world record for the fastest 5-mile run by like a 10-year-old. I forget, it's somewhere in like the 8 to 10-year-old. He was a running prodigy growing up. And as you mentioned, with the strength background or the influence from his dad, makes sense that he'd be here trying to set the record for one of the hybrid athlete events.
So we talked about the male podium for Deca Strong nationwide. Let me run down the ladies real quick.
Yeah,
Taylor
it's an
Williamson,
impressive list of who's been there.
Taylor Williamson, who just won the CrossFit Games on Team Mayhem with Rich Froning, dropped a 13:09. She's the fastest female Deca Strong. Maddie Jones, another CrossFit Games team athlete back in 16 and 17, dropped a 13:32. And Sam Briggs, CrossFit world champion in 2013, dropped a 13:35 at the Spartan Games last year. That's our top three. Deca Strong is our event that has no running, and you see a lot of CrossFit athletes littered all over the leaderboard. The bigger, stronger athletes. Deca Mile, where we precede each zone by 160 meters, a little more of a hybrid athlete, and then Deca Fit, where we precede each zone by 500 meters. You see the smaller, faster athletes like Rich Ryan and Faye Stinning, who hold our male and female Deca Fit records.
Like that's Sam, Asis, gym owner, going over the event with Ryan. Like we're getting pretty close to that done time.
All right.
Again, folks, we're coming at you from Aces Fitness in Fouquet, Verona, North Carolina. Ryan Kent attempting to break Ryan Corning's Deca Strong record of 11:49. Jack and I have Ryan's, the pace that he wants to be at for each zone. We'll try to let you know what those are and how he did as he's rolling through. I see he's checking getting his bike set up.
Yep. Yancy, what have you found is the best strategy on the bike for people giving this a shot? Because obviously this is the hit or miss. It can take you 45 seconds if you are an animal, but it might ruin your race afterwards, or you're just on there for all day, it seems.
I kind of look at it as the 400 meters. My old high school and college coach was like, you got to go get that first 100 meters. And that's, I feel the same with the bike. You got to go get those first 10 cows, get the watts up there. And that's going to be a game changer. If you buy 20 seconds on that bike, you're not going to lose those 20 seconds on zone 8. You might lose 5 or 6, but if you allow yourself to go anaerobic and get in the pain cave on that bike, you can buy a large chunk of time. Typically we see athletes gain and lose up to 20, 30 seconds. A lot of times they finish those first 6 zones, they're fatigued, and they just settle in and kind of just feel sorry for themselves, sit around 300-400 watts. And when you get up there to 500-600 watts, you'll buy a huge chunk of time, and the body will recover. Zone 8 is challenging. Those 60-pound dead ball shoulder overs times 20, but a fit athlete will actually recover a little bit on those 60-pound shoulder overs if they'll dive in deep in the pain cave on zone 7.
Yep. Yeah, and
I can agree with that 100%.
Yeah, just for perspective, Ryan wants to reach the bike in a little under 6.5 minutes. He's going for under 12, 11:48 is what, or 11:46 is what he thinks he can hit. He's about barely over halfway done, even though he's starting zone 7. So a lot of the movements earlier on do not take as long as the second half type of movements. So you definitely want to save yourself for the race. Kind of begins at the air bike is the way that I see it.
We call 7 the Deca Gateway, where it's the make it or break it time. Zone 1 through 6 you've definitely built up a lot of full body fatigue, but Zone 7 is the gateway. We call it Deca Zone. Unlucky number 7. 7, 8, 9, and 10. All 4 of them really suck, to put it lightly. But as you watch people go through Deca, it was very important for Jared and I when we were designing the 10 zones. We wanted everything to be very rudimentary. If you look at every zone, you think 2,000 to 3,000 years ago.
I'm gonna mute Dexter real quick.
Yeah, when you think 2,000 to 3,000 years ago, when it wasn't fitness, it was just it was survival. Building rudimentary shelter, gathering food. You look at every zone. We're getting on the ground, getting off the ground. We're getting up and over something. We're lifting something. We're carrying something. We are pushing something, pulling something. We're using 3 rudimentary forms of transportation: rowing, skiing, and cycling. So it's a very basic test, each zone as its own. And we wanted, if somebody walked into that gym right now, and it's like, I've never done this before, what's going on? Within a couple minutes, they would be able to look around and say, hey, I think I can do this. It's very, very basic. There's not a lot of education that goes in. It's everyday movement that, when you talk about the rudimentary nature of each zone. Nothing complicated, for lack of better terms.
Oh, nailed it. All right, so I have all of Ryan's splits. I'm not going to do a share screen. We're going to keep it on at the same time, just so that everybody wants to see Ryan. They don't want to see us. But
Yep.
I'll make sure that if Ryan wants to hit this thing at 45 seconds, and where are we at? I'll make sure of that.
Do you want, when he starts at some point in time, do you want to turn their volume back on so they kind of get that race event feel? Okay.
Yep. I'm just going to unmute it because it sounds like they're going to be starting really soon.
So for zone 1 here, he's wanting to hit these. It's a 55-pound Spartan Ram alternating reverse lunge times 30 reps. He's going to alternate each leg for 15 reps each leg. And he wants to do that in 38 seconds to be on pace.
Yep. Hey, Dexter, can you talk? I want to know if we can hear you instead of the audience. Okay. Nope. I figured.
Okay. Boom. Now it looks like I'm unmuted.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Looks like the person in Ryan's lane is finishing up their burpees down the stretch right now, zone 10.
Okay.
So, hey, will you leave it right there for a second, Dexter? So, guys, the viewers, that trifecta ram there, it's 55 pounds. When Ryan starts, he's going to either go with a front rack, a back rack, or a single shoulder rack, and the knee's going to touch the ground. And he's going to step up out of that lunge, and then alternate legs each time. That alternating kind of throws in a little bit of a balance factor. And then he's going to jump off that, throw that ram down, and head over to the rower.
Dexter, any way you can hold your phone sideways instead? There you go. All right.
Man.
All right, so it looks like somebody's finishing up their, or just finished their ram burpees, which are arguably the most painful exercise I've ever done in my life. So good job on them.
We had to put that last, Jack, just for you, brother.
Yeah, for everybody. I'm sure Dexter wasn't happy with you when he was doing that earlier.
So for all of our viewers, my co-host here has dropped a 13-minute Deca Strong, so he is no slouch in the Deca Strong arena himself.
Well, I won't be going for the record today like Kent, so
hey Jack, you're gonna get you're gonna do lap splits, right?
Yep, I have my watch. No one can see this other than you, but yeah, I've got my watch. I'm gonna get splits. I'll type them into the tracker live just so that we can see how things are going. And everybody in the comments, just making sure, good video, good sound. It's a little bit of an echo, I understand, just because of where it's held. But let me know if there are any issues last second.
We got Glenn Race on board.
It's a calm before the storm.
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready. History is about to be made. Thank you, everybody, for being here and supporting us.
Strong is what?
11:49.
11:49. I know he's got it in him. He knows he's got it in him. There's going to be a time where he needs to dig deep. A little doubt's going to creep in his head. When you see that doubt show up on his face, what do you think you should do?
Yes!
We are all here to help him break that today. History's made today.
I got some butterflies, Jack.
I'm pumped. This is like watching their CrossFit games. It's like, you know what's coming as the viewer. You know how much it's going to hurt. It's a good thing it's not me.
Yeah, what's been so fun is just, oh, he's off.
All right. Jeez.
2, 3.
Dexter, I can't hear anything. Oh, all right.
There's really nobody making any noise right now.
Clearly does not like the mat. He's like, get that thing out of here. So Yanti, he'll be throwing the thing off. As soon as you get full extension on your 30th rep, you just get rid of it. It's allowed, right? Then hop right on.
3, yes. 4, 5, 6, 7.
30 here.
All right, Jack. I had a
So that-
37.6 with a 5-second transition, so he bought himself about a half a second there.
Okay.
He wanted 38.5, and
He
he
was
hit,
right there, yeah.
Yeah, he was right there.
All right,
He
we'll
wants
get
to
that
pull a
split.
138 here.
All right, nice smooth stroke rate, sitting about 33, 135 on the split.
Somebody changed the setting.
Oh, no. Did someone change the setting, you said?
They had the display wasn't
Oh,
proper,
the
so it wasn't
display, the
showing
units on the
meters.
screen. Okay, I was like, oh, man, if someone touches damper, that's not cool.
Yeah, we normally like to have the big fat digital display. So,
Yep.
what the great part about this is we see, and a gym will have an event with 100 people come in, and heck, 50 of the people have never competed in anything in their life, or it's been a long, long time. So this is kind of their first. We're providing start lines for all levels of fitness across the country with Deca. But it's fun when the cyborgs step in the arena every now and then, like around here.
Yep. Now, a lot of people, when they give this their first shot, they're going to be walking like Bambi once they get off of this thing. So it's a conservative push. You don't want to go too easy. You want to, I'm sure Ryan, if he went all out in a 500, he'd probably be somewhere in the mid 120s. He's going about 130. So he's going about 90% all out effort.
Yeah, he's got to be really close
Last
here.
pull.
Okay.
All right, so that was a 136.9.
Oh man,
he's moving.
Yeah, he was 2.2 seconds faster than he wanted to be there.
Yep.
Or than he needed to be, I should say. And he had a 4-second transition. Right here, folks, for the viewers and listeners, both feet must touch the top of the box, and the rep is counted when both feet touch the ground on the opposite side. He's on a 24-inch box.
Yep.
And that's the same for men and women.
Dexter, if you can stay in place, that helps with the video quality a little bit, it seems. All right, that was a 33-second. Oh, that was like a 2-second transition, if that.
Wow. Okay. I was a little off on my. He hit those so fast that I didn't. I was probably 2 seconds slow on my lap time.
So right now, he wanted to be at 259 when he started this. He was at 256, so he's +3 or -3 right now. Ahead of
So we have
schedule.
We have a 20-pound medicine ball here. The ball must touch the ground behind his head, and the rep is counted when it touches the ground between his feet.
Yep. So he's got to go a little ahead of those knees. It's got to be at least in between the feet.
And he's looking for a 36-second here.
I got a 37.8.
Yep, I had a 37.7. He's probably 1 to 1.5 seconds ahead of pace right now.
No, he's 2.5.
2.5. Okay.
At the moment, yeah.
I know
what's it looking like on the screen? Are you able to give us his
Slide
strokes per
in there,
minute?
yes, sir. Looking at 35 on the strokes per minute. We've got 146 split right now.
Okay.
He's wanting to pull a
35 for the strokes a minute.
25, 26 strokes per minute currently.
Okay.
Yeah, he's wanting to pull a 148 here, folks.
Yep. Typically, the ski erg for most people is about 10 seconds slower than their rower, and he was like 137 on the rower, so that might put him in good territory.
Yep. He's gonna be moving on to farmer's carry next. He'll have a 60-pound dumbbell in each hand, and he's gonna carry for 100 meters down and back 5 times in a 10-meter zone.
Yep. Do you have his distance in? He's about a minute in, so he's probably a little over 300 at this point.
Yep, coming up on 325.
Okay.
Still holding 145 on that.
Nice. Steady rate. You said just for the listeners, damper setting 6. He's doing about 35 strokes a minute, and that's allowing him to pull in the mid to upper 140s.
He's wanting to farmers in 48 seconds, which, believe it or not, to him, it's going to sound crazy to some of the viewers that have done Deca.
Last 50.
He considers that a big recovery zone for him. Farmers carrying in 48 seconds.
Yell out his time when he's done, because it's hard to see. Done.
Yeah, 146.
And he's off.
All right, that was a 4.5 second transition.
Yep. I had a 146. Is that what you had, Jack?
Yes. All right, so he's taking. This doesn't look like he's going fast. He's going fast.
Yeah, that's probably a 12-minute mile pace.
Yeah. So if you look at his footwork, he's essentially starting his turn 2 steps before he reaches the line, so that he's already heading in the proper direction for the next time. Crap, looks like your video's breaking up slightly. Okay. So he turned. Now he's basically doing. He's got one left.
10 minutes to go. We got the crowd building up here.
I heard it. I heard a thud at 47.
Yep.
All right, let's get his RPMs.
So he had he was 2.5 seconds fast on farmers with a 5-second transition.
4.5 seconds ahead of pace at the moment.
Yep.
All right, what's his screen looking like? He's clearly trying to buy some calories early.
Yeah, he's 500-600 watts there. He's maybe 700 watts.
What's his RPMs? He's probably 80 to 85, I'm guessing.
Can you read those RPMs? What were you looking at for his RPMs on there?
What are they?
He's selling. I can tell you right now, he's selling out. He wants to go 56 here.
Yeah, he's at 42 at the moment.
He looks comfortable.
How many calories is he at?
We're 48 seconds in.
The video's breaking. All right.
50. He should be getting off in 2 to 3 seconds if he's on pace. Oh, yeah.
That was a 59.
Jack, we had a 58.6 with a 2-second transition. Okay, for the viewers here, we've got a 60-pound dead ball, and he's got 20 shoulder overs.
This is called the shuffle method, if you watch it.
And he wants to hit 1 minute.
Yep.
And
so
I would
on this
say
one,
he's
a lot of people will do a 180-degree turn. They'll plop it over, then spin around. This method is essentially bringing his foot forward and just kind of going in the same place. He's keeping his back foot pivoted the whole time.
Do you have a rep count on him, Jack? I lost him.
No, I don't. He's probably somewhere in the 13, 14 range just based on time.
He's 45 seconds.
16.
He's on pace. Oh, he's ahead of pace.
17. Last 2.
Yeah, definitely ahead of pace here by a little bit.
All right, so that was a 56.5 with a 2.9 second transition.
This is the make it or break it. He needs to go 2 minutes, 7 seconds or better here. That's his goal.
He's still 5 seconds ahead. So he's doing it. Video's breaking up slightly. Dexter, what's he doing? Is he keeping full arms the whole time? Yep. That's what it's looking like.
We mentioned before, his strategy is to pull arms, and once he gets to the line, give it that last tug to get those wheels across.
Yeah.
But for the viewers here, he has to push 100% of that tank past this 10-meter line, and then when he's pulling back, he must just touch the line with those silver bolts there that you see.
Right at the end of the straps.
Correct. He needs to start burpees at 10:37 to be ahead.
Okay, he was 55 through 2. That's behind what he'd want.
I would say he's about 3 to 5 seconds behind pace on this one.
Yeah.
Had a little snag there. That happens.
Yep. So he should be done. 20. He'd probably be on it. He's about 10 seconds behind on this station. He's not having a good push. He bought himself 5 seconds earlier, but I think he's going to lose about 10 here, which means he's going to have to focus of his life if he wants to set the record. But
all right, he's got 30 meters. If I'm 25 meters to go here.
He's at 145. 149. Okay, yeah, that's taking him out of like 22 seconds each way. Or a little longer, actually.
Yeah, we're at
27.
2 minutes right there.
Yep, 202. So,
you know what, Jack? He's only going to be about 2 seconds off pace.
yeah, he'll be very close. He's at 215.
He's going to have to sell out here. Okay. Oh, man. It's going to be tight, folks. That's 3. 4.
Let's go.
5.
I think he might actually have this.
6. It's going to be within 2 to 3 seconds, Jack.
Yeah, I was going to say,
7.
he called 11:46. I think that's legitimately what it's going to be.
8. 9. So here, the ram must get above the head enough to where the judge can see space between the bottom of the ram and the top of the head.
So close. Like
what
within 2 seconds.
What rep was that?
12, I believe.
13?
13.
He's got to sell out.
The camera's glitchy there. What number was that?
I think this is 16.
He's going to miss it.
Strong, go right up here.
He's going to miss it. He's going to miss it. Damn it.
Oh,
Just barely. He's going to be in second.
oh my God. I
Whoa.
got him with like 11:53.
11:53.
Knows it.
Oh, wow. So that puts him in a solid second. What a freaking run. So, Jack, it was the I think the tank was the only
It
one
was
that
the tank that
he was
he
off.
was ahead of schedule on basically everything there, and the air bike 2 seconds slower. But we can go over that with him. He
Yeah.
put himself in good position.
So you had him 2 seconds slower on the air bike?
Yeah.
Great
58
run.
first, 56 what he wanted.
Wow. Hey, Dex, do you have the official judges time? I have 11:53.4, which would round.
Grab it off the judge real quick.
He's either going to be a 54 or 55 because we rounded the whole second.
Regardless, he was sub 12. He was fast.
11:54.03.
11:54.
11:54 is what it'll be.
Okay.
11:54 flat, yeah. Wow, so that puts him. He will be tied for second place with Zach Vogel from Colorado.
Yep.
What a run. So when you're that fast, you know, he ran a 12:06 last time, so he pulled 12 seconds, and when you get to that level, every second, I mean, it's like going from a 401 mile to a 359. That those 2 seconds are insanely hard. It's just takes a lot of training to continue by seconds now. To continue to buy seconds now.
Yep. Totally agree.
What's interesting, Jack, is that I think you and I both had him 5 to 6 seconds ahead going into the tank, and I wonder, you know, in training he felt very comfortable going 207 in the tank. And I know it may sound minuscule, but those 5 to 6 seconds may have hurt a little bit going into that tank.
It's true, and I think he front loaded it intentionally, knowing, you know, if he wants to have a couple seconds of the buffer, have it on the tank.
Yep.
That's just my take on it there. Realistically, it's a hit or miss type of thing. Some days you have it, some days you don't. I wonder if his pull or his push affected him more. It looked like his pull was pretty rough compared to normal.
His pull, what pull? His
on the way back with the sled.
Yeah.
At the going out with the push, it didn't look like he had his normal amount of power, but his pull particularly looked a little slower than normal.
We call this Deca Zone 11. This is the Deca Done Zone. I always tell our affiliates, make sure you have plenty of space for people to crawl off into a corner and die, because that's what they're going to feel like.
Deca Done.
Deca Done. Well, hey, but what's really cool about this is, like I said early on in the broadcast, in the same arena on the same day, using the exact same standards, you'll see 30, 40 people come in there today and do exactly what Ryan just did. Now, it's probably going to take them twice as long, if not longer, but they'll earn their mark. That's what we call it. They'll earn their mark. Then they'll be able to go back and train and test and get better, and that mark will improve over time.
Yep, and it basically is equal effort. Like Dexter, I'm sure you felt exactly like him afterwards. You're like, I'm not walking for 3-4 minutes.
He looks a little more fresh than I felt.
Really?
I wonder if he wants to talk with us yet. Yeah, he's.
Yeah.
He might look fresh. Give him about an hour. He's not going to be feeling it.
Yeah. Oh, he could come back and probably drop a 12:30 in the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's insane. But so basically, he tied, or might have been a fraction of a second ahead of Zach Vogel for second fastest all time.
Hey, Jack, what did you have Ryan's Zone 7? About a 55, 56?
On the air bike?
Yeah.
I had him at a 58 and change.
So he was a couple seconds slow.
Yep.
There. He knew he had to go under a minute. He wanted to go 56.
Yeah. And going a minute at that late into the race, I know it's about 6 minutes. Or once you start it, you're starting at a little over 6 minutes if you're Ryan Kent. That's you've done some work up until that point. So to go sub 1 minute on the air bike at that stage, I know he had his expectations on 56, but still pulling out a 58.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if he thought 56 was manageable, 58 probably didn't put him in the tank or in a deficit at that point. I think that it just came down to the sled. If you look at all of his other splits, he was pretty spot on. His burpees looked good at the end. That's just my gut.
Yeah, he ran. He had a really good zone 8. I think he was 1 or 2 seconds.
57.
So he was 3 seconds ahead of where he wanted to be on. He looked really smooth on it. I think the only it gets down. An athlete like Ryan is wanting to break this down to like a science. He lost a second or two on his alternating reverse lunge. He caught a foot. If you turn and actually get your entire body on that mat, you get rid of the risk of catching a toe on that mat. He lost him a couple seconds there, and he also a couple times on his pull, he let his strap get hung up under the tank. But overall, that was a pretty clean run.
I would agree. Yep. You want to try to get him on the line, Dexter?
Yep, definitely. I can give him my headphone. Y'all can talk directly to him.
That'd be great.
It's only the 4th guy to ever break 12.
Super impressive. I would love to see some CrossFitters give this a shot, like CrossFit Games athletes, just to show.
I'm gonna head on outside.
I don't know if that's really going to cool him off. It seems like it's so humid there that it might be worse.
Yeah, it's interesting, Jack. On the female side, we've had our top 10. In that top 10, you have Christy, Ermo O'Connell. You have Sam Briggs. You have Taylor. You have, Maddie. You have, I think, 5 or 6 of our top 10 have been to the games, either as an individual or as a team competitor.
All right, well, he can hear y'all.
Yes.
Ryan,
all right.
Only the 4th person to ever break 12 minutes. You tied Zach Vogel with an 11:54. How was your run, brother?
First, just major thanks to this gym for just being so awesome and supportive of me trying to go after this. Even though I fell a little bit short, that's okay. Super thankful for everyone here. Also, mad respect to Ryan Corning, man. Like, that 11:49 is so legit. And if you don't have like the absolute perfect race, it's you're just not going to get that time. And I had a few slip ups there, and it started with the lunges. Like my mat got all crooked. I panicked for a second because I knew every second was so precious. My heart rate spiked on that, which it shouldn't have done because I was kind of panicking. And then I was trying to play catch up on the rower to try to make up for that when I know I should have known I didn't need to do that. And my heart rate in general was just higher than I wanted it to be earlier in the race. Like I was ready for it to get that limit around the assault bike, but it was hitting there before that. And yeah, once you cross over that red line, you're on borrowed time. And I tried to manage it the best I could. I was still right where I wanted to be, despite that. Like going into the torque, I was still right where I wanted to be. I looked at my watch, but it was just like the tank was on empty at that point.
So,
and yeah, I just came up a few seconds shy.
So you said the tank was on empty. Jack and I took precise lap splits. You were at or ahead on every single zone except for the tank, and that's where we lost. Could you feel that out on course that you were a little ahead on all the other zones or right on? And
yeah.
You tell you lost the tank.
Yeah, I knew on every zone, like especially the rower and the skier, I could tell just off of watching the screen that I was going faster than I wanted to be, which was good. But then when I got on the assault bike, I knew that was a little bit slower than what I wanted it to be or what I knew I could do. But I was still ahead of total time getting on the sled. But I was so far in the red at that point that I just didn't have the juice in the legs.
So Ryan, were you taking splits along the way? Were you aware of what you were at?
No. My goal was to look right before I got on the assault bike, but I forgot. I think I was just so caught up in the moment that I forgot to look at my watch. But I did look at it right before I got on the sled.
Yeah.
I was right where I wanted to be, if not a few seconds faster. But as a whole, I could tell, like box jumps, even though I didn't have a clock on it, I know the pace, what it feels like going across. Same with sit-ups. Like everything felt right about where it should have. Just my heart rate was a little bit higher than I wanted it to be.
You were about 3.5 seconds entering, or once you got off the ski erg, you were 3.5 seconds ahead of where you thought you'd be.
Yeah.
So you definitely were going out to break this record. You weren't hoping to close strong. You were like intentional with your effort.
And I looked at it one more time right before I went into the burpees, and I knew I had to do those in like a minute, which is possible. And I was hoping, the energy of going after the record, the crowd, like everything, that I could pull it off. But once you hit that muscle failure, you're pretty much just done at that point. And I think I did the ram burpees in a little over a minute. Wasn't able to get the record, but I was still right there. I was right there, and I'll find another venue and go after it again. But dude, like, I knew coming in here that breaking that record wasn't a guarantee. I mean, I knew I had the fitness to do it, but it was going to require a perfect race.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't able to do that today, starting with zone 1. But mad respect to just everyone, man. Like whether you're an elite athlete or just somebody out here trying to earn their own Deca mark. I mean, that's such a grueling event, and it just doesn't matter what level you are. I mean, it's just, it's super hard, but it's super fun at the same time.
Ryan, on that note, and I know you've been attached with Deca since Jared and I literally pitched the idea. You've been on board with this. I would love for you to talk to the listeners and viewers out there. The fact that, like we like to say, in the same arena on the same day, using the exact same standards that you just used, or that Taylor Williamson just used when she set the Deca Strong record. The fact that we could pull anybody off the street in North Carolina and they could walk into the gym, and a lot of them are in there right now competing as we speak, and they're all going to earn their mark. We have talked to the viewers about why we have that 99+% completion percentage, no matter who steps in the arena.
Yeah, I mean, that was something that was very important for everyone involved. Like from the start, was like, this should be for anyone. And the weights obviously aren't super, super heavy, but for the top end people like myself going to try to break world records, I mean, if you're pushing yourself to the limit, like, you know, a 55-pound lunge might not seem heavy, but when you're going super, super hard, giving it everything you got, it's very taxing. But yeah, it's super cool that, like, there's not many sports where everyone can compete and do the same things. You know, football, I love football, but I'm not going to go play in the NFL. So it's just very unique and very connecting that anybody can come in and do the same type of event.
Yeah. Ryan, I've got a question for you. So we've been training a little bit on the weekends, about maybe what,
A
April
little
or
bit.
May?
You call in sick a lot, Jack.
Dude, I don't call in sick. I wake up early for you on stuff like this, so I don't know what you're talking about. But anyway, let's just touch on where were you at 4 or 5 months ago versus
Oh
now.
my gosh.
Like, it's
Yeah.
just from an outsider's perspective, you like the old Ryan Kent that people have been used to from 2014 to 2020 or 2019. That was not you during the spring.
No.
You were, without question, probably the worst shape since you started racing. Work,
Jack,
having
you're
a
gonna
new child.
You're gonna get me emotional, Jack.
No, I'm proud of you that you've got back, is what I was coming down to.
Yeah, you saw me down there. We went and did that workout where I was, oh my gosh. I mean, it was not pretty. I just had a lot happen over the last year. I don't know why I get emotional, because there's so many people out there that are doing the same thing as me. But it's like I was forced to get a full-time job. Then we had a baby, and I was still so passionate about competing. I just didn't know how realistic it would be to get back to that level that I was at because of all the responsibilities that I had. And I gave up on it at first because I knew something had to give, and I didn't want it to be supporting my family. So I put that first. And then when I felt like I could add training back in, I did that. But it was a very gradual process because I didn't know how much I could take on and still be good at my job, still be a good husband, still be a good dad. And I was able to kind of find the right system and the right routine to make that all fit. And it's been a grind, but I'm back. And I think the sky's the limit going forward. It's all about prioritizing your time, and maybe you got to give up a little bit of sleep in the process, but it's all doable, man. There's so many people out there doing it. I've had so many, great athletes come before me that have done this exact same thing, won world titles with a full-time job and a family. So it's guys like that who have come before me that have given me the faith and confidence that I can do it too.
Do you feel that the layout of this event, where it's a very small footprint, you know what it's going to be, you can train specifically for it, just like back in your track days where you have to do this type of workout to be good at this type of distance? Do you think that Deca Strong, this format, allows people with just a completely booked schedule and a ton of commitments like you with family and work and trying to be a good athlete, does it allow you to optimize your training and you don't have to get away to the mountains and stuff? And like,
Absolutely.
you feel it?
Absolutely. I mean, it's Deca Strong, for example, is depending on how fast you do it, but I'd say the average person is doing it somewhere around 20, low 20s, something like that. So it's not a long event, and it doesn't require a ton of volume in terms of training. I mean, you're going to have to go put in some 45-minute, maybe an hour efforts, but like if you do have a family and a full-time job, I think this is like the perfect event to chase after, because again, it's not super long, doesn't require like a huge time commitment. If you can put in 20 to 30 minutes a day, like you can come in here and do pretty well. And I think for me, the biggest appeal is racing a stop clock rather than really necessarily chasing, trying to beat competition, which is what Spartan race is. And that's great and all, but like I grew up doing road racing and track and field. Like everything's almost like you're racing the clock 99% of the time. Yeah, like you find yourself in a kick race against somebody, you're going to try to beat them. But like I've spent most of my life racing against a time clock, a stopwatch. And this kind of brings me back to that. And I think it all.
Hey, Ron, I got a question for you, and I'd love to just, what do you think about when you hear this? Research shows that about 80% of the people walking the planet have never stepped up to a start line in their life. They made it through middle school, high school, college, wherever they are in their life now. They've never competed in anything in their life. And it's for people like you and I and Jack that have competing our whole life. Sometimes we get tunnel vision. We don't realize that there is that large number of people that have never stepped up to that start line. As you know, one of our key reasons for creating Deca was to provide that low barrier of entry start line for those. We literally wanted to focus on the people that don't have gym memberships right now, and they've never competed, or maybe it's been a long time. Now that you've been in the mix with Deca for a year and a half, what do you have to say to those people that maybe this is the first time they watch this, like, oh, I didn't even know Deca existed.
Right. Well, when I first came in here, I met a lady who, she'd done like 25 minutes or something. Then she ran like 23 and she went 21. And today I think she said she was going to try to break 20. And she did. She ended up beating it. And like the whole gym was going so nuts for her. Very, very awesome to witness that. I think another great thing about it is there's not like a ton of people watching you or judging if you're doing these events. I mean, it's a very supporting kind of small crowd because you just sign up for whenever you want to come in, show up, and then you can leave. So it's people constantly flooding in and out. So I think a lot of it is the intimidation factor for a lot of people. They don't want, a big crowd watching them, or don't want to feel like somebody's just judging them the whole time. And you don't get that with this. It's very supporting. There's not like a huge crowd, and everybody's out there just cheering on, and it's a very, very special community.
That's so true, man. I've been to a ton of events and helped our gym affiliates all over the country put them on, and you nailed it. The average time is around 25 to 28 minutes. And we have people that are in the 30 to 40 minute range where you'll actually see them go off and take a couple breaks during their test. And again, like we said, that's the first time they've ever tested,
Right.
But they earn that mark, and then they commit to their fitness class and they become a little better version of themselves. And the next time they see you, it's like, oh man, I'm twice as fast as I was
Right.
when the first time I ran it.
They're not racing anybody other than themselves. They're racing themselves and the stock clock. And I think that's very encouraging for somebody who might be intimidated to come in here and try to beat somebody. They know that they're just going against themselves and a clock. And like, that's pretty cool,
Okay.
Yeah.
I gotta ask the question, man. So you were 6 seconds off from beating Ryan Corning. What is the plan between now? And we know doing it at 6,000 feet is not a great spot to set the record. But what is your plan? Are you going to try to sneak in another Deca Strong before the year is out?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think I need to do anything too crazy. If Rich Ryan is watching this, he hit me up and was like, where do you think you need to gain the most time on? And I said, I don't think I need to do anything crazy. I just have to, gain a second here, gain a second there, and I'll be, right where I want to be. I don't think I need to change too much. I just have to have a little bit less mistake race.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I thought coming down here to sea level, I was not guaranteed to get it, but I knew that if I went 12:06 at altitude, I should have a good shot at going 11:49. But I don't know, man. I don't know if it was travel or what. I mean, I honestly don't think it was any of that. I think I just made some mistakes, like, the mat getting messed up on the lunges, like just little mental errors. And as long as I correct those, I think I should be fine. But that 11:49, man, if Ryan's watching this, man, like that's super legit. And
just when we need another Ryan in the sport, right?
So speaking of Rich Ryan, he's got the Deca mile record in 18:38 and the Deca fit record in 30:11. what's the plan there? You a little head-to-head battle with you and Rich Ryan, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, so if in a perfect world, I would have set the Deca mile record or Deca Strong record today, then set the Deca mile record in Denver, and then maybe shoot for a Deca fit later in the year somewhere. But since I wasn't able to get the Deca Strong record today, maybe it changes up my plans a little bit. Maybe I'll show up in New Jersey and put on a good battle with Rich.
Ryan,
Maybe that'll be my priority now for the rest of the year. We'll see.
Have a question from Glenn Race. He was wondering how much environmental conditions might have affected the performance. Like, was it super humid, hot? Just curious on what it was like in there.
Yeah, definitely humid, without a doubt. I mean, God, it's been a year, if not longer, since I've been in like this kind of temperature. And like, even though we're inside, it's still pretty muggy in there. Again, I don't necessarily think, it's hard to know. I don't think that affected anything. I think it was more just like mental mistakes. I don't think the weather really played too much into that.
I think that you did a really good job on transitions, and the way that I see that is it's just like in a normal Spartan race where it's like, how quickly are you getting over this wall? Do you get up to speed within half a step, like right after you're done? You did a really good job shaving tenths of a second, which add up to full seconds over the course of it. So I think that that's something that you can take away as a good thing. Yep,
I agree. And I worked on that a lot in training. I watched my last race in Denver, and I was pretty quick there with the transitions, but I knew that was somewhere I could gain. Again, like if you can gain a second or two somewhere, that's going to, make a big difference in your overall time. So trying to squeeze out, precious seconds at any time is going to be a huge help.
Yeah.
You've won 5 stadium races in a row. When are you set up for when's your next stadium race, my friend?
I mean, God, there's just so much fun happening later in the year. I mean, we've got some Deca Fit events, we've got some high rocks, we've got some stadiums. There's just a lot of fun things to do, and a lot of the times they all fall on the same weekend, or one's one weekend, one's the next weekend, so it's hard to make choices. Right now I've got Fenway on the schedule in November, so yeah, hopefully I can make it to Fenway.
Yeah.
And I know your mom and dad were in there.
I came here.
Patty and I know Patty and George.
1 second, Yancey. We got some noise out here.
What's that, Yancey?
I know your mom, Patty, and your dad, George, were in there, and I know your dad's kind of was having some health issues this past year.
Yeah, it was him. I don't get to see him that often. My wife and I, Sarah, we actually got married last October, but we never had a wedding because of COVID. But we're actually getting married September 5th in Castle Rock, in our backyard, and my family's going to come out for that. But I was able to squeeze in a trip before then to see them. They just moved to North Carolina from Virginia earlier this year, so they were able to make the short drive and come watch me. And like I said, I don't get to see him that often, mostly because it's kind of dangerous for my dad to travel. Getting up in an airplane, it's not good for his health. But yeah, it's always special whenever mom and dad get to come watch.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Yancey, on that topic, I'll add this. My mom and one of my brothers, they came and watched the West Palm Beach Deca Fit, and they said it was the best racing experience they've ever had as spectators. I'm sure, Ryan, once you touch base with your parents, they're probably going to agree that like they literally could stay in the same place.
When my mom walked in, she was like, "Oh, this is much better than a Spartan race." She's like, "I can see everything."
Yeah.
And they were so accommodating. They gave my mom and dad like a little front row seat here so that they could watch the whole thing. But yeah, they thought it was super cool. They'd never seen anything like this. Normally they're used to me heading off into the woods and coming back once or twice, but for them to just kind of be here and watch the whole thing start to finish, they really enjoyed that.
We call it celebrating fitness, man. We believe that you can compete and do it in a way where everybody gets to celebrate fitness. And that, as you know, that's what Jared and I is one of our number one goals, is to make sure that we put a big positive spotlight on the world of fitness with Deca.
Yep. Ryan,
Absolutely.
I've got one last question for you.
Yep.
Who do you want to face? Call some people out.
Rich Ryan, man. Rich Ryan, come on out, buddy. Come on out. He's already.
I'm talking people who haven't done it. We've seen Rich do. He has a mark in every event.
Let me break that down though. Rich has what I want right now. He has the records, and I love Rich, man. He's a great guy. Like, we get along fine, but he's clearly like my competition right now. So I'd love to race him, and hopefully we will soon. But for someone who hasn't come out, oh man, like, I'd like to see some high-level CrossFitters come out. I mean, they're not going to think that the weight is all that heavy, and it's not all that heavy, even for guys like myself. But what's your conditioning like doing this kind of thing?
This isn't a 30-minute event; it's a 12. They're used to stuff in that time frame.
Right. But it'd still be interesting to see, like, if you brought, Vellner or, Fikowski or the Medeiros, the guy that won this year. Yeah, it'd be fun to have them come out here and kind of see how quick they could do it in. I don't know, man. I really don't know what's possible in this event. I don't really I want to say that 11:30 is totally doable, because I believe that I can do an 11:30 with the right preparation and the perfect race. But it'd be interesting to see somebody with like that kind of strength and power, also with the conditioning behind it, come in and try to see what they could do.
On that note, Jack, let's talk briefly about the different types of athletes. Rich Ryan owns the Deca Fit and Deca Mile records, but he's almost 2 minutes slower than you in Deca Strong. And we see the bigger, stronger athletes owning the leaderboard in Deca Strong. We see the hybrids owning the leaderboards in Deca Mile, and in Deca Fit, you see, like I was telling Jack, the Faye Stinning, for example, owns the female record.
Right.
That's the 5K running version. And Rich Ryan, who's obviously a very strong runner. So, Jack and I was. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's why I was trying to take so much pride in getting all three records, because I definitely don't fit. If you look at the top three guys right now in Deca Strong, you've got Ryan, who's a big guy. You got Zach Vogel, who is an absolute monster. And then you got Hunter McIntyre. I mean, these guys outweigh me by a lot. I mean, I think I came into this event right at about 180 pounds. And I know for a fact all three of those guys weigh over 200. So I was trying to take a lot of pride in being a little bit smaller, but also still have the Deca Strong record. And then Deca Miles at perfect, like in between, which is probably really suitable for my body type. And then somebody like Rich Ryan's he's got a solid frame for Deca Fit. It's just very, very interesting to see the type of athletes that can compete in these things.
If you could hold one of the records, Strong, Fit, or Mile, which one would it be? I know you want them all, but which one's the most prestigious?
I think I want them all for different reasons, though. But I mean, the Deca Fit is kind of like the highlighted event. That's the big spectacle. So probably Deca Fit, I'd say.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Deca Fit.
Yeah, I was thinking you'd go with Deca Mile because it allows the strength athletes to have a chance.
Yeah, I think that's what probably suits me the best. Would probably be Deca Mile. But
20-minute time range or a little less. Yeah. But
Deca Fit, that's where you get the real competitive atmosphere. You're racing other competitors versus a stop clock the whole time. Probably Deca Fit.
I'll tell you what, man. Ultimately, doesn't matter what sport we play. Ultimately, we're training for life.
Absolutely.
And I'll tell you what, man. Your little boy Bason's going to be 5-10 years from now. He's really going to be able to see what it means for dad to stay in shape. And I like to say that the most important thing we're training for is when you're 70 and Bason's kids want to go on vacation, and you're as granddad, you're saying yes to Bason and his kiddos one day. That's the true meaning of staying fit, man. So we can say yes to
Absolutely.
the wonderful things that this beautiful rock of ours provides for us, brother.
And just to add on to that, Yancey, with the looking down in the future, you mentioned this earlier with the stopwatch, Ryan. Your time, Basin, when he's older, he can try to see how he stacks up. Be like, did
That's
you ever
very
do
true.
11:54? Like, this is.
You know what's funny is when I'm writing in my training log every day at night, I write in my little notebook. I have these abbreviations for things. Let's just say toes to bar, for example. I just write TTB. But like lately, I've been writing it out so that one day when Basin gets a hold of these training logs, he knows what TTB stands for. So I write it out like toes to bar. So yeah, it'll be fun one day when he's old enough and he can go through those training logs and kind of see what Daddy did all those years.
Good stuff, man.
Good stuff. We got one last question for you from the audience. It sounds like this guy works at UPS. He wants to know, Jesse, he wants to know how many stops per hour you do.
Oh, man. It depends. If you know the delivery game, you know it depends. If you put me in some resis, which is short for residentials, I mean, I could knock out 35, 40 stops an hour, like real quick. But I'd say on average, somewhere around 25 stops an hour is a pretty good average. So almost one every 2 minutes, something like that.
You're getting your work in with steps every single day.
You're like in zone two all day long, man.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. If any of my supervisors are watching this, I came up shy of the record by a couple seconds. I'm blaming you guys for making me work extra hard this week. So when I get back, you're going to hear it from me.
Yeah, give the man some time off. Let him do his thing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Shout out to all the hardworking, moms and dads and full-time workers out there, man, because it ain't easy, but we get it done.
Much love, brother. Hey, go in there and love on Patty and George. And Dex, if you're good with it, you mind streaming in there for a couple minutes so we can see the a lot of people test that are a little slower than Ryan?
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you guys. Appreciate everything.
Thank you,
All right,
Ryan.
thanks, Ryan. Yancey, I've got about 5 minutes, and then I'm heading out to meet VJ. So we'll take a quick look.
Hey, Dex, we sure do appreciate you, brother.
Oh yeah, I'm glad to do it.
Yeah. Did you get a cool down in, or you just
He is sitting there. He is sitting there with acid just rolling around in those muscles.
That's why I was asking. I'm like, the lack of complaining after doing that workout without a cool down. I'm very impressed by you.
So you guys see that Deca banner up there? As I said, this is one of our Deca affiliates. They put on Deca workouts throughout the week. And when I say we've had, 160, 170 events across the country, every quarter, our affiliate gyms will put on an event like you see today, where anywhere from 50 to 100 plus will sign up and earn their mark. The gyms keep 75% of the revenue. So on an event where 100 people show up, a gym can make easily $3,000 in one day. So nice little. One of the reasons we did this is to help people help gyms during the COVID pandemic. Looks like you still got me, Jack? Looks like we got little issues with the
it's
feed.
just frozen right there, but
that may be it.
I think he is done.
I think it's about time anyway.
Yeah. Well, it was a great effort. I think all things considered, he's going to be a little bummed just knowing Ryan. But his mark right there. When Hunter McIntyre goes 11:59 and Ryan Kent goes 11:54, those are a couple names that the OCR community will understand. He put out a good time today. I think he'll end up, if he does another one in like a month or so, I think he can go under 11:49, assuming Ryan doesn't do it himself, or Ryan Cornish or Corning, and then Zach Vogel could easily do it again. So,
well, it's Zach Vogel came in and said basically the same thing. He said, I knew I had the fitness to go 11:49, and you're right there. You have a few snags, and when you're on those burpees, I don't care if you're 1 second behind. At a certain point, like Kent said, the muscles, it's like 20 meters left in the 400-meter run. No matter how bad you want it from the chin up, sometimes the chin down will not allow it. And it just, that's what happens sometimes. I have a feeling that Hunter McIntyre is going to be a little fired up, and he's going to come in here. My gut says he is the first person that breaks Ryan Corning's record, and then Ryan Kent will come back. That's just my That's my gut feel right now. The Hunter's going to be fired up, and I know he's very fit right now. He may give it a shot. I'm damn sure going to put some pressure on him.
My prediction, I think that we'll end up seeing some CrossFit Games caliber male athlete do it, get under his mark. We've already seen it on the women's side. I think that, having a few more on the men's side do it, that'll be amazing. I think you'll end up seeing something in the 12s by a woman probably by the end of the year, is my guess.
That's what I was going to say. We've got 3 very high-level CrossFit athletes. Taylor Williamson, 13:09. So really and truly, it's kind of shaking out that Deca Strong is about a minute gap. If you break 12 as a male, you are a freaking Deca cyborg. And if you, for that first female that breaks 13, actually, I would say if you're sub 14 as a female, you are.
That's crazy.
You're a badass, because that's very few females have done that. Broke 14.
Because they have the
very
same.
Few men have broke 12.
They have the same distance and calorie requirements, so it's not like they're doing besides the farmer's carry. And
Zones
the shoulder overs. Yeah.
1, 4, 6, 8, and 10. Those are the 5 where there's the weights are scaled down, but the other 5, it's identical.
The machines are the same. Yep.
Yeah, and the 24-inch box.
Yep. Yeah, it's legit. Awesome. Well, I think this is entertaining. Hopefully, you got to do it again and with a record next time.
Hey, Dex, thanks, man. Jack, I enjoyed doing the broadcast with you, my friend.
Yeah,
hey,
thanks for the coverage, Dex.
Shout out to Obstacle Racing Media for letting us jump on and broadcast this today. Make sure you give some fist bumps to Matt B. Davis. Hey, shout out to his wonderful wife, Stacy. Matt cannot be here because she is competing in a bodybuilding competition. Obviously, the most fit in the family is Stacy.
Without question.
But props to Matt for supporting his wife today instead of jumping on with me and the Mad Ginger statistical genius, Jack Bauer.
Yeah.
Much love, brother.
All
Appreciate
right.
it,
Thanks,
man.
Yancy.
Take care. Bye.